All right. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Talking Bollocks Podcast, a podcast where we invite men to discuss men's experiences with mental health, physical health, and to encourage conversations within men's spaces and men's groups. Right. My name is Chris. Today we are joined by Sohail. How are you today, Sohail?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you.
Are you sitting comfortably?
I am sitting comfortably, Chris. Thank you, Christopher Robin.
So, let's crack on with the podcast.
Let's do that.
Would you like to tell us a bit about your life?
Yeah, so my name's Sohail, as you introduced. I'm 59 years of age. I'm married. I have come from a mixed heritage background. My mother's German. My father is South Asian. They came to this culture in the 1950s, and I grew up in the southeast, as you probably can tell from accent, of England, and I moved up to Huddersfield when I was 17 in 1983.
So you've been here for 50 years?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You don't think you've acquired the accent?
Well, I can change into it if I like. I can talk Yorkshire. I can put my hard vowels.
That's
I dance.
Me
dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, accent switches quite a lot, usually.
We have noticed.
It's much. Does.
Does change, yes. When did you first notice that you had mental health issues?
Probably people said I was always very strange as a kid. I probably was in lots of ways. I used to rock a lot. I used to sing a lot and rock a lot. Like on my knees, backwards and forwards. I still do that now. I developed traits of what was called obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, from a very early age. And it started off with checking rituals, like touching a spot on the wall and not looking on the cracks of the pavement. But over a period of time, it developed to be quite complicated rituals around checking stuff, or feeling very insecure in the world, feeling other, not part of belonging to anything in particular.
So these chicken rituals, that had an impact on your life.
Yeah, that's just insecurity. So you check, like as a kid will do, as adults will do, they have rituals, so everything will go all right. Some people wear yellow socks some way, or some people will have like a handkerchief with little objects in it, and they'll put them in a certain order in the handkerchief, wrap the handkerchief in a certain way, so they had good luck. It's like, people always have these kinds of things, don't they? Or they have to check the door 4 times before they leave the house. It's all about security and checking and trying to make yourself safe and control what's going on around you, that you possibly feel that you have under control.
Did you have control?
Not very much. As a child, you didn't have that much control of what was going around you, what's happening to you.
Is it true? Is it true?
That is true.
That is true. Looking back, you see you it.
Yeah, I kind of. Well, I had a nervous breakdown when I was 12, 13.
So how does that, what does it look like?
Wow, it looked like just fear, basically. Being afraid all the time, terrified, not really knowing what you're afraid of, having nightmares, shaking, crying a lot, feeling unanchored in the world, disassociative. So that's when I started to experience dissociation, where I wasn't in my body so much. It was like looking down on myself from outside. And I got quite a lot of those experiences as I was growing up.
How did you explain this to parents?
And just told them I thought I was doing bad.
And they
said, only mad people don't say that. Mad people say I'm not mad, but they're mad. That was their rationale for it.
You can't.
If you think you're mad, you're not. Yeah. You're not. So that was their answer for it. And then they took me to the doctor when it got really bad. I just couldn't bear anything. They took me to the doctor, who was like a very old-fashioned doctor. And this is the 70s, you have to remember. So it's like 1970-something, or mid-70s, early 70s. And he put me on Valium, and then got me off school for 2 months.
So fairly seriously.
Yeah, there was no talking therapies for kids in those days, or if there was, I didn't get any access to them. Which is probably what I needed.
Yeah. you think time to change them?
Yeah, a little bit, but our services are pretty knackered now, aren't they? So it's like it's very difficult to get access to stuff once you've been out of service. I mean, I think for most people nowadays, you've either got to be on death's door or you've got to be, you've got to either be a danger to yourself or a danger to someone else or other people in order to be, and then you get sections basically or get crisis team.
So it's got to be serious before you get any help at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's the right way to go.
No.
What can we do about it?
More money. It's all about money. It's all about resources and resourcing. That's all it's about. I mean, it's like, you need more money. Psychologists are leaving the service, either going into private practice or doing something else. Psychiatrists are paid loads of money. It's really difficult to get an appointment for anything, really.
Would you think it was more financially astute, put money into children's services so you don't have to talk?
Yeah, I think if you've got mental health issues from a childhood's perspective, it's going to be a bit of a journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes down to what you think as normal behaviour and abnormal behaviour. I mean, my perception of what abnormal behaviour is when the behaviours that you might have start to interfere with your well-being and your ability to function. A lot of children have that. I mean, it doesn't stop you just a child when you get all this treatment and you become an adult and you're better. No, that's not how it works. If you're going through the system.
And support should be there for as long as you need it.
Well, yes, and it's the one from a play, I believe. It's like...
It is. Excellent play. Excellent line.
Was that play called Men's Talk, baby?
It is actually.
I used to call Men's Talk. Very good, yeah. So...
have you seen it?
I think I've been, about 37 times. I think so. That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like, it's hard. It's hard because it's like resourcing. It's not a will to resource it, really, properly.
Really? You said you were started as a child.
Really?
Mental ill health.
Yeah.
It's been going on ever since.
Yeah, pretty much. Looking back at it now as an adult, I can see pretty much that I was unwell, that I had periods of wellness and periods of quite deep mental distress, but I wasn't getting any help for it. Yeah.
Did these periods of ill health happen while you were working as well?
Yeah, happened while I was working, and I was fortunate enough, or unfortunate enough, to not be working in 9-to-5 work. I worked as a freelancer, and I worked mostly in the days when freelance work from the sector that I was working in was pretty well paid. So I could work and then take time off. So I worked towards being unwell because the work would make me often unwell. But then I would have 2 or 3 days off where I wasn't working, so I could just recover. And I used to also like the maladaptive behaviour around what was alcoholism. I used to seek refuge in booze. So basically, my way of coping with the intrusive thoughts, disassociation with the OCD and the suicidal ideation and all those various little diagnoses, you pick up like scouts badges when you go into the system, depending on who you're seeing. A psychologist, a psychiatrist, or mental health worker you're seeing, they give you diagnoses. It was just like, that was just dealing with it. That just allowed me to deal with and cope with not feeling afraid all the time, which is pretty much what I've been feeling all my life.
It's interesting you mentioned scouts badges.
Yeah.
That's how you feel it.
Well, you do, because I think it's sort of complex, isn't it? You can give someone a diagnosis. I got 4 diagnoses. I got OCD, which I know, I've had that since a child. And I've got PTSD, which is from bullying and abuse that I encountered as a child and as a young man. And then I've got the other diagnoses of suicidal ideation. And then, did I say PTSD?
Yes.
Then I've got also mixed anxiety and depression. But it's a complex. I mean, the state of being, these are just labels describing certain behaviors and patterns of behaviors. and certain feelings, but they're all part of a complex which is about being unwell, basically, or coping with being unwell. But then we had this conversation earlier on, what is normal? I mean, if you tell me something is normal, if you show me a normal person, I'll probably think there's something very strange about that person.
Yeah, there's probably something very strict.
And I wouldn't trust them properly. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know what the strangeness is, do you?
Yeah.
It's not, they don't. You don't. Could be anything.
I think the good thing about going through a process of continually being mentally unwell is that I developed, I don't know if that works with other people, but I developed a really strong capacity for self because I'm always watching myself. So I'm always masking. So I'm always watching myself. I'm always looking at myself often from the outside. So you develop a very strong sense of trying to attain this face of normality, this mask of normality. And also you develop very strong, I developed a very strong sense, I have a very strong sense of critical observation about myself and my behaviours to keep myself in check.
That could be quite.
It's very tiring.
Exhausting.
It's really exhausting. It's knackering. It's really knackering. And so the alcohol became the release out of that. And I sleep a lot. I can sleep up to 14, 16 hours a day.
Yeah, I suppose the weird thing is about that is like people having a decent night's sleep is that you're using those.
Yeah, and it's not good sleep either. I mean, like last night, I went to bed at I think that's 6 o'clock or something like that in the evening. But I wouldn't sleep longer. I'd have very vivid dreams, and then wake up every 2 or 3 hours, and then go back to sleep again. And then wake up every 2 or 3 hours and go back to sleep. And they probably get up about 5 in the morning, especially if I'm going to do something. And it takes me time to get, because I've got rituals and routines that I have to do. So it takes me a while then I have to get up early because I need to make sure that I'm settled and I've done all my checking and that everything's in place in the house. It's safe to leave the house and all that kind of stuff. Which comes with I suppose it's the OCD, but it's also just trying to keep the panic to leaving the house. So I can be in the house for days if I'm not. That's why I try and do activities like this. So I think just being in the house for days, not washing or you're eating properly.
So you benefit from?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I benefit because I don't really like going out and doing stuff a lot of the time.
Do you enjoy it when you get home?
I feel better when I return home because I feel like I've actually done something. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
But I don't like being out amongst people because there are too many potential avenues of attack or routes of attack or what they call vectors of attack. It's like almost like being in some kind of first-person shooter game where I feel constantly that somebody go get me.
It's not with us, though, is it? Or is it with us?
It can be with you guys sometimes.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah. I'll have to keep them, see.
But mostly I trust you guys. But I think trust comes from knowing people, and you know what people are and how they are. Then you trust them, don't you? Because they're not going to do anything left field to you. Which is where it comes from. It's like, it's like my experience are basically living in the situations of constant abuse where I could be hit, punched, or hurt at any particular. It's not familiar. Well, there isn't from Ellen, but I'm not going to go into it. But, and there was also the racism. I grew up in England, the southeast of London, and I think in the 70s and 80s, there was BNP, and every third white kid was a skinhead and getting beaten up and getting chased and getting spat on and being name called, and people just coming up to you, calling you a packy and punching you in the face. And packy go home and all that kind of stuff. It's just constant. So that triggers that kind of trains your body to always be in a flight or fright or freeze state of being. That doesn't go away, especially because it's been laid down over years. It's part of your character formation of your character is all there. Yeah, it's just like the psychology is the way you get personality being filled.
How did this affect your working life?
Like I said, freelancing. I've always been a freelancer.
You've never been.
I've been PAYE, but that's been freelance-like work. I've always been in contracts. Some contracts last 2 or 3 years. I've had associations with companies I worked for Mind the Gap in Bradford as a freelancer for I think about 12 years. I worked in the LBT from 2008 to 2019 as a drama tutor. There's always been like stuff that I could, if I was really bad, I could get out of basically. Or sometimes you couldn't. Sometimes you were doing I did project management. That's where I started to get really unwell because I was working really long hours. And you can't get out of stuff because you've got to make sure everything is hitting the timelines, deadlines. You're recruiting people in, managing the project, making the artistic literal, changing certain minutes, finance,
So trying to put structures in there.
There's no time for release. Yeah. But they had good money, really good money in it, but it was incredibly stressful.
That can't help.
No, I mean, a little bit of stress is good, I think. And the environment is naturally stressful. It's the recovery time it takes afterwards. That's the thing. The recovery time can be very long. And if you don't have enough time to recover or reset, then you're not resetting yourself into some stable frame and you go back into doing work. And I used to work with quite different clients, work with pupil referral units. Behavioral issues were often an issue. People need to do that kind of work. It was also, again, very well paid, but you're dealing with people that basically have very chaotic behaviors. And they have a tendency towards being abusive or appearing to be abusive in those situations. So you're managing that. Yeah, it's just dealing with the shit. Other people's shit.
How did you discover clear mental?
Weirdly enough, I got a mate in Sohail who runs Creative Minds, which is a creative arts initiative run through the NHS in Huddersfield, in West Yorkshire, in South West Foundation NHS Trust. And he rang me up and he said, there's this group which is doing a theatre production. You might want to join in with it. It's called Men's Talk. It's run by this guy called Stuart Hawkes, which is kind of funny because I knew Stuart in the 80s and 90s because he went to the same art college as me, did the same course. He was in the 4th year, and I was in the 1st year. So I knew him. And then I worked with him in the 90s when he was doing Getting Backley as theatre worker with him as well on projects. So I thought, I know Stuart. So he gave me Stuart's number. I rang him up and Stuart said, we're not doing any theatre because we were getting into COVID at that time or going through COVID. I can't remember exactly. And so we started with the digital stuff, which is this is a part of working with film. We went to Eden's Forest, which is in Holloway, which is an old forest with an encampment, and we did filming projects there. And then I started on the play. So I've been with you. I've been here since 2020, 22, 21, something like that. I can't remember. 22 maybe.
Start.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get answer.
No, so it'll be 20, yeah.
So we still need to finish Monkey productions.
We haven't done Monkey, but you went away with Monkey, so I can't do anything.
I've still got Monkeys. It's quite like it, novel. How is it? So, do you get any support other than through Waynestown?
Well, I work at the university doing ad hoc work for them.
Yeah.
I work in what's called the Public Partnership Group, which is APG, which is working with, it's like they get me in for doing all sorts of stuff. Sometimes it's just doing and pretending to be a person going or working with pharmacy students, turning up with your prescription, and they have to check it and make sure that, and that's like role play. And then other times it's just giving a talk in front of nurses or mental health social work students, or sometimes it's talking about safeguarding. Sometimes the paramedics get me in to the paramedic students because they've got like a Daphne steel big new build down in Huddersfield. It's like they've got play rooms that are like made up as into a house. So they've got a living room, bedrooms, kitchen, and all that kind of stuff. So often I play the role of someone who's psychotic, at risk of self-harm, not letting people into the house, paramedics into the house. So yeah, it's quite diverse to use my theatre background and my personal experience, because in 2019 I had psychosis. So I'm so recovered for that, as they say. Do I get support? I believe now I'm going to get EMDMR, which is a deep anti-trauma, which is a therapy that deals with trauma, PTSD, and other mental associated illnesses. And so under the care now of a psychologist, Sonic Horn, which is quite reassuring, which will a bit of security blanket.
How long have you waited?
Waiting about 5 years for it. And I will be waiting another 18 for the EMDMR, but I want the care because the antidote on the list. So I do have a psychologist now. But that's quite rare. That's very hard for people to access that. It took me 4 or 5 years to get there. And it'll be another 18 months before the year, because the waiting list for EMDMR is very long. It'll be another 14 to 18 months before you actually start the process of the action therapy.
How long is the process going?
This as long as they feel it's useful.
Oh, really?
It's not down to me. It's down to what happens with the act and what.
Which will be interesting to see.
Well, yeah. Got a bit nearly a 2-year wait to find out.
Let's hope it does have symptoms.
Well, I hope so, because I've had a lot of counselling, but counselling only helps you find the narrative and look at the causes in an intellectual way. EMDR is more about what's in the body, what's your flight and fight response. So it's all about the relationship between the brain stem, amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex. Because the amygdala reacts first, and the prefrontal cortex kicks in and says, no, that's not a dangerous situation, but the amygdala. So I've got a very hyper-aroused amygdala for risk and threat. Okay. So hopefully that's stuff called somatic. It's in the being, it's in the body, as well as being in the mind.
That's, I say, let's hope that is successful.
I hope so.
Yeah. Because
it'd be nice not to be scared all the time, which is quite nice.
How's your mental health, man?
Lucky. It's up and down. It ebbs and flows. Good days and bad days, good hours and bad hours. I do a lot of art. I do a lot of projects. I try to get projects off the ground and support. I try and work on stuff, try and do stuff at home. I try and keep myself interested in what's going on around me.
We speak about it.
Painting, sculptural work, jewellery, and then other objects, tools as well. Stuff that, like this is like this. If you can see that, so a shiny stone that my mother picked up on the beach. It's like a bit like jet. And then I found through a copper wire and wrapped it around like maybe a little thing.
It's just available for sale.
Some of the stuff isn't. To me, I wouldn't really sell it because it's more like it's got spiritual and personal connection to me. But some people who ask me if I've sold instant stuff, I'll say, well, just bring me something and I'll make you something. So bring me a stone, bring me a jam, and I'll make you a necklace or an amulet, something.
But you're not tied to a business present.
No, I'm not tied to it.
Get it?
It's not like some of it is really clunky. Some of it is like, it's like a nugget of melted aluminium that I've covered in copper and then inlaid with jewels. Yeah. So some of it's quite heavy and chunky and quite, we
can do this.
So I do painting. A lot of it's to do with my family history, and I used to have a live art practice, contemporary theatre practice, which I'm kind of revisiting now, working with David Crabb on that. Hopefully that'll be up and running by April, May of next year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's your plans for the future?
Yeah.
That's one of the questions, isn't it?
You think you've covered all the bases?
I think I've covered all the bases. I'm not going to have covered. So we asked the direction. Have we covered all the bases? Think so. Yes, I thought that was all.
All right. Do you want to sign off then?
I'll put sign off there. Good best.
It's really like Piers Morgan wouldn't do that.
Oh, don't-
You notice when he gets angry in an interview, he starts doing this. Like when he gets angry, he was interviewing Jack Palance, and Jack Palance was like, said something, and he was going, and just lost the argument. So he went,
Scripts. So that's the end of this episode. I'd like to say thank you to Sohail. Thank you for joining us. I'd hope to see you again when we are joined by another guest. Goodbye for now. This has been a clear Men's Talking Bollocks podcast. Anything, yeah.